Assalamualaikum and good day to Puan Munirah binti Abdullah. My name is Adam bin Azmi and this is our group presentation on PBT 2 for mobile application development. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the agenda for our presentation. So first up is to explain the objectives of the project itself. Then we also show and give a brief explanation on the first page, the second page and also the third page, which will include XML and also Java code. And lastly, we have a summary of the whole work and also the challenges that we face as a team to complete this whole project. And lastly, we'll be showcasing the code demonstration. So without further ado, let me continue with the objectives of the project. So first up is for us to create three main pages, the three being the home screen, the menu, and also the order summary, in which all of us will be presenting later on. As for my part, I'll be explaining on the home screen for the XML and also Java. And then we also, for each page, we'll use different layout forms as mentioned by the question. Of course, we'll be using things like grid layout for home screen, linear layout, and etc. And then we'll also be using things like image view, text view, buttons for images, and overall for user interactions. And second last, we'll also use intents to ensure that we're able to navigate through pages and also to send out data to different pages. And lastly, we also have to showcase returning results from intents, as I've mentioned before. So now I'll be explaining on the first page code, in which first up I'll be explaining on the XML first. So for the whole layout of this whole page, we have used a linear layout for the whole thing right here. As you can see, we've used linear layout, and we've also added text view for the welcome text for our cafe, which is Anak Melayu right here. And as you can see here, we've also used grid layout, as the question has mentioned, for the design of the four options that users can choose. And inside all of the grid layout, we've also used a linear layout, so it allows these columns right here to be clickable, in which once the user clicks on it, or rather clicks on the images, it will bring them to the next page, in which I'll be explaining more on the Java side later. But for now, so inside of the grid layout, other than linear layout, we also have used image view, obviously, for the photos, I guess images of each of the options, which is being coffee, tea, pastries, and also snacks. And of course, we've implemented text view to let the users know the type of options they have. And apart from that, the code is mostly just copied and pasted, as it uses the same format for the for each linear layout, which is being tied to the grid layout. So now I'll be explaining on the Java side. So on this Java, essentially the whole function of this Java is to add functionality into each picture, I guess each linear layout. As you can see, we've set all of the ID into each linear layout, such as layout coffee, layout tea, layout pastries, and of course layout snacks as well. So by using the find view by ID, which finds the name of the linear layout, we've also used the set on click listener, which adds the ability to click the layout itself, in which it will use it will activate this method right here, open menu, and from there, from the open menu, it will allow to move to the next page, which is the menu activity. I'll explain more on the open menu method later on. But apart from that, as you can see that we've attached it to a category called coffee, in which it is a parameter for the open menu method. So back to the open menu method, essentially it is to add functionality to the onCreate method, whereby it will bring users to the next page, being the menu activity java.class. And also we've used the intent right here, and to set it to category right here. So from the category string, it will recognize in the menu activity Java, the .java file, in which my friend will explain a bit more on that. And that is essentially the whole code for the main activity Java. So that is all from me. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Adal Zikri, and for this presentation, I will explain two parts of my cafe menu app. First, I will explain the example layout code. So for the first part is HTML file, and we start with a linear layout as the parent container. This means all the components inside will be arranged vertically. Next, we also have the text view with the ID text category. This is the title at the top of the screen. Its purpose is to display which menu the user is currently viewing, such as coffee menu or tea menu. The actual text is updated later in the Java code. Next, we also have the four buttons for item. Below the title, we created four buttons, which is button coffee, button tea, button Danish, and also button snack. In XML, they just show placeholder text and have a brownish background. But inside the Java code, this button are programmed to show real menu item and their prices when we click on the button. Next, we also have table layout with the ID table item. This table is empty at first, but in the Java code, each time the user select an item, a new row will be added here. The row will show the item name, its price, and a cancel button so the user can remove it. And lastly, we have the confirm and back button. So the confirm button is for sending the selected order to the summary page, and the back button is to simply close the current screen and return to the previous one. So that's it for the sample code. And now I will continue with the Java code. So for the Java code, um, we create a variable called selected item and total price, which is global, so that all of the methods inside the class can access it. Next, the important method is the onCreate method. The onCreate method is important because it has set content view, which will link the XML layout file, which I'll just explain earlier, to the Java code itself. Next, we will retrieve the category that was chosen by the user in the previous page through the string category equals to get intent function. Then I use find by view ID to connect to the text category, text view, and set its text. This make the titles say something like coffee menu or pastry menu. After that, I check the category using if else statement. For each category, I call a function called setup button, which my friend Amal will explain later, to assign the correct item name and price to each button. For example, if the category is coffee, then the first button will become latte, and its price will be for 8 ringgit, and the second button is Americano for 6 ringgit, and so on. Lastly, we also have the confirm button, the inside on create method, which when the user click it, the app will check if any item was selected. If yes, it create an intent to move to the summary activity page and pass along two pieces of data, which is the list of item and the total price. So that's it from my part. And now I will pass on to my friend Ahmad to continue the presentation with the setup button method and the add item to table method. So thank you.
Good evening, my name is Muhammad Maifan. So today we continue the presentation for our PBT for mobile application development. So now I will start the presentation with our public setup button methods. So as we can see up here, public void setup buttons. So for this code right here, as you can see, it finds a button in the layout by its ID. So by its ID, it's button ID and item name and also price. So this button will represent one menu item, and then button dot set text. So this one will set the button label to show the item name and its price. For example, latte, which the price is 8 ringgit. Then uh, uh, we have button set on click listener. So for this one, when the button is clicked, it will add the item to the order list. So the for in the order list, which is the selected items, and it will update in total price string, and then it will shows a short pop-up message, which it will says added and your item that you choose, for example latte. And then it also calls add item to table, which to display the item in the table layout. And then we have find view by ID. So for this one, it will set up the back button to simply close the current screen. And then next we have add item to table. For this one, if we can see the method here, so for this method, it will find the table layout where all selected items will be displayed. So table row, new row, equal to new table row. For this one, it will create a new row for the table, and it will also add a light gray background color for clarity. And then for text view, item name text view, for this one, it will create a text view for the item name and add it into the row. And then next we have text view, price text view. So for this one, it will create another text view to show the item price. So it's basically the same as the previous one, the text for the item name. This one, it will show the price, the item price instead. And then we have button, remove button. So for this one, it will add a cancel button to each row. So when the cancel button click, it will subtract the item price from the total, and then it will remove the entire row from the table. And lastly, it will update the order list from the selected item by removing the item. And then finally, we have table item tables layout and view in bracket new row. So for this one, it will create finally for this one, the new row with item name, price, and cancel button. It will add it to the table layout. So
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Yashim Muhammad Adi bin Zaki. Matrix number 01DDT23L1164. So I will continue the presentation. I will present the third page, which is a summary. I will first explain the XML file. So this is the layout of the XML will look like. At the output, so we use relative layout for this page. Then this is the text view for the title. And then this text view for the each items, and then this text view for the total that we want to display. And we also add two element or component buttons for the back button and the confirm button. So for the function, we go to the Java file. So the summary activity Java file, we import things that we need, what we use. First, intent, text view, and contents. So this one, in this coding, basically we connect with the XML file. After that, we declare two variables, which is to get intents from the menu activity, which is these items and total there. We get from the page. So at the bottom, we have also declared the text item and text total. Find view by ID. So ID, which is we connect with the activity summary elements or components. And then we have one condition here. If the items is null or empty, is not selected, the display will show no item was chosen. Else, string item array item dot splits. So if they have items in there, the string will split the items, selected items, based on the type of the item. So like if the user choose nachos and popcorn, the two items will be split. And then the summary tab is for now is empty because we want to do some condition first. So in the else also we have a 4 conditions to know how much that the user choose the same things, the same items. So we will get the length first, and if the entry is not length, we count 1. So it will must the second the nested for array, and then to find the duplicate entries like I just said just now. If like user select nachos 2 times, he doesn't want to look like to find the at the summary nachos, just show it directly nachos times 2. So to do that we need to do this. For if the array items equals to array j, and the count will um, increasing until the condition is false. And then if count more than 1, the it will display the items and times and put the number of the count, how many that the same item was chosen. And then like next line. If not, if just one, then they doesn't show the times. No times one, or just one name only. Name only. And then we display at the summary text. So at the bottom, we also display the total. So the total we only use this. Like we take 2 decimal number, like 2.002 decimal number. And then this is for when we user click the confirm buttons, the toast will appear that show the order confirms and short for the short times, and intent no intent, so they will go to the main activity class after they click the confirm button and start activity intent and finish close the current page, which is this summary activity. And the bottom also we have the function to go back to the menu to the menu activities. If user want to add something or edit their summary, they can go back and add more item or delete just like they want. I think that's all for the summary activities. I will guess the next
And now
presenter.
we will
Thank
get
you.
on to the challenges that we face throughout this project. First, one of the challenges that I faced was parsing and managing data between activities. I had to make sure the right key were used when sending and receiving data like category, items, and total price. Even a small mistake like a misspelled key would cause the receiving activity to show nothing. Next, the second challenges that we encountered was handling duplicate items and quantities in the summary page. This was difficult because we had to look through the array of items and then use another loop to to check for duplicates. If the logic wasn't written carefully, the items could either be counted wrongly or still appear multiple times. Lastly, the third challenges was dynamically updating the table in menu activity. Each time a user selected an item, we had to create a new row in the table with the name, price, and a cancel button. The tricky part was making sure that when cancel is clicked, the row is removed, the price is updated correctly, and the item string is also updated without leaving any
Now
error.
I will continue the presentation. So for this one, I will talk about the summary for our whole project, our whole activity. So as we can see here, we have the diagram, which is for our cafe menu app. So here's our activity flow. So as you can see, we have main activity, which is homepage. So in here we can select category for our items. So for example, we have coffee, tea, pastry, and also snack. And then after user select the item that they want, and the app will take user to the menu screen, which is menu activity. So for this one, in this page, in this screen, it will show the item. We also add and cancel items, and also we have confirmable. And after menu activity, it will take user to summary activity, which is the summary screen. So for this screen, it will show order, display total, and also confirm order, or we can back to previous screen.
And lastly, I will continue for our demonstration for our app. So as you can see here, we have up here we have the text level right here, and then we have 4 menu items that we provide. So for example, our coffee, so I will click coffee right here, and inside the coffee menu we have quite a lot of very good coffee. So for example, I want latte and americano, so it will pop up both latte and americano down here that we choose just now. But if I change my mind, I just want latte, so I can cancel the order. But I can pick another one, for example right here. So after I choose all my items that I want, I can just confirm order. And from here, it will take us to our third page, which is our order. So from my order, which is latte espresso, we will enter the price, and from both latte and espresso we got total